Hope you guys are doing well. It's been a long day. Ria's busy laughing at me because I'm tired. Been driving the
We are
whole
all
day.
tired, bro.
What's up? How was your day?
My day was trash, to be honest. But hey,
What's
adulting.
happening? What's happening? Mahwaring,
No, it's mahuwa, man. Like
life.
it's life. It's adulting. It's growing up, responsibilities, and just jiggling everything all together. But we are here today, and
Yeah.
please introduce today's topic.
We're here, guys. As you heard Ria, we're gonna have an interesting topic today. It's on South African education system. I just want to ask you a question. Do you think like we have an adequate education system based on your observation?
I personally think that we have seen improvement over the years. Is it adequate? No, I don't think it is.
I think it's getting worse.
I don't think it's necessarily getting worse. It's just that you have to have a reference point, right? Where, as in like in what years are you comparing? Because
let's say
from 94, let's say from 94 until to date, yes.
Okay, yeah, so from 94 to date, there's a huge difference because, okay, fair enough, we didn't have the education system in 1994, which caters black people in terms of developing that critical thinking and equipping them with nice skills that they will have good careers. But I guess maybe one will ask themselves, maybe our viewers, like, why was it like that?
Okay, maybe to somebody who's not familiar to the education system in South Africa, let's define it for them. What do we mean by education in South Africa in terms of schooling, right? So you correct me if I'm wrong. So I think it's divided into foundation phase, which is grade R to grade 3.
Grade 3?
Yes. Foundation phase is grade R to grade 3. And then you go to intermediate phase, which is it?
Grade 3 to grade 7.
Yes, that's intermediate phase. And then you've got the senior.
Seniors, yeah, the secondary.
That's grade 8 and grade 9. And then you have FET, which is grade 10 to 12. Yes.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So for you to be declared that you have finished basic education in South Africa, it must be from grade R to grade 12, which means it's 12 to 13 years if you include grade R as a so 13 years of schooling, then you're competent as a base. You have basic education, which is your admission to bachelor's degrees
or
diplomas.
Because we have is it updated currently, or it was there before?
Which ones?
They introduced the new curriculums like your diploma, your bachelor, and your honors.
It's higher certificate.
Higher certificate, yeah.
It's diploma, and then it's admissions to bachelor's degree.
And do you have an understanding? You can touch up. What can you do with a higher certificate?
No, but I think we will touch up on that maybe in the upcoming episodes, because now for us, for this episode, the aim is for us to determine if our education system is adequate or is equipping our learners sufficiently for them to be able to withstand the pressures of higher education and learning, and also to equip them for the workplace.
But the reason I'm asking that question, because I feel like currently we have a lot of matriculants. People are passing matric, but they are passing with marks that are not make sure as compared to other curriculum that came before. Yes. So I wanted to make sure that, is it our government setting us to failure, or are they really developing us, or maybe they've picked up something compared to the previous regimes? Because in South Africa we had an education system which in previous years before the dawn of freedom, where black people had their own education system and other racials had a different education system that equipped them to be better. So do you think maybe some of the changes that we see in the education system are as a result of trying to be
I,
better.
I do feel like sometimes when I look at the curriculum currently, when they say the pass rate is, oh, the pass mark is 30%, I feel like sometimes it's our government trying to overcompensate to what happened
In the past.
in the past. So they are too lenient on black schools, to be fair, in terms of like, it's like if they put the pass mark at 50%, they're too strict. Now it reminds them of things that happened in the past. Like they're really trying to balance what happened, but it doesn't really, I don't think it's helping in terms of improving our education system. Yes.
Because I think we're doing worse as compared to other countries.
So the quality of education, the quantity of people passing is increasing, but the quality of the pass of the people who passed is reducing. Hence why people are not accessing the higher education facilities, because they don't qualify for that.
So why, like, we having difficulties to get this education system as a country right? Do we have any like understanding of the root cause of where we are? Like we can't get our people to have that critical thinking in terms of understanding an important subject, even the subject that are given. It seems like they are being aggressive in terms of like, you will do this because in the past we were not allowed to. Was there some situation like that? If maybe you can take us into history.
No, but I feel like before we even go to history, currently what we need to do with the situation that we have is to re-strategize. The world has moved, like the world has evolved. We are now in the fourth industrial revolution. We can't be using things that were in the first industrial revolution to solve fourth industrial revolution problems.
But the foundation, it's very important.
I understand that part, but at the same time now, we need, at schools, they need to introduce critical thinking, they need to introduce entrepreneurship, they need to introduce practical learning. Do you understand? And those things, you don't just give them in the FET phase. They have to start somehow in the foundation. Yes, building the kids up. Have you noticed that if, for example, if you didn't do accounting at high school and then you go and do at university, you go and register for an accounting related course, you're not going to do well. Why? Because you don't have that foundation. And in South Africa, they are expecting these learners to somehow move from mediocrity education and to excel when they get to higher learning and training. And
they don't have things like your NS, natural science, which cover.
They are there, but
then your
even at their state right now, those things, even if you excel that module, I don't think it equips you enough for you to go and do well in the future. The content itself of these courses, of these subjects, is not sufficient enough for if we are comparing it to what other people are learning in other countries.
So
our system is too lenient.
So what do you think is the cause of that?
It's also lack of leadership, according to my opinion. We need somebody who's going to stand up and say, hey, let's revise this education system.
But it's been revised for about 4 times.
But if you actually look at it, what actually changed? If you look at it,
there's a lot that changed.
No, in terms of the substance itself, they changed the pass marks, they changed the paper 1s and paper 2s, but what they are teaching the learners, if you take an OBE textbook, an NCS textbook, a CAPS textbook, put them together, you'll see that nothing actually has changed.
There is a lot of changes that CAPS, for example, they were trying to make sure that the students are not just learning from a theoretical point of view in terms of the books. So they wanted them to do more practicals. That's where you had to do a lot of assignment, a lot of activities to ensure that you embed those skills within yourself. Other ones, mostly they were just pushing content, that we are behind. Other nations are far in terms of understanding maths, understanding economics. So we're pushing a lot of content in these children so that they can catch up. But is it our government's failure or
I
the
think yes.
pre what call
The government. No, but I think we need to get out of that mindset of blaming everything on apartheid. It's been over 24 years now it's 30 years of democracy.
But you are a child of someone who did not get an education system like you, and sometimes the way they think affects you as a child.
I get it.
So
but
to move from
we
that
had 30
transition,
years. We had 30
no,
years
fair,
to improve.
but history is very important. So
No,
that's why we
without
need
a
to
cap,
take
yeah.
people into this history. What made us to be behind?
No, I hear what you're saying, but also you see, there's a lot of factors involved here, from competency of teachers to the dedication of the students themselves. Have you noticed that? I'm going to make a reference to rural schools. Rural schools, first of all, you have no resources. You have lack of teachers. Like, there's a lot of challenges that those learners face, and for you to achieve as a learner from rural schools, it takes your inner strength. Do you understand what I'm saying? So if you're just a standard minimum bare, like, the one that just does the bare minimum, you're not going to be able to get there. If you notice, all the rural schools that actually perform well, it's the learners' excellence, not really necessarily the system itself. Whereas in other parts of the countries where they have abundance of resources and opportunities, they are able to shape those kids so that they go into the right direction, right?
But those are few learners that you're talking about, those you're saying they're excelling. But the curriculum is still the same. And we want to make sure that the entire South African is well equipped. And myself, I feel like the apartheid government, even if we see that the teachers are incompetent, but it's because the foundation was apartheid. The teachers that taught us, me and you, at our age, were older, and they were taught through an education system which was from apartheid.
Yes.
So what was an apartheid education system? If maybe some of the viewers need to understand the effect of what apartheid did in terms of the people who taught us.
So you're talking about the racial segregation. So basically there was what they called Bantu education. And that education, according to my understanding, it was limited in terms of like, they limited your capabilities of learning. They limited your access to
was there
education.
any reason? Because I feel like there was a reason why.
No, the reason is what we all know, which is basically their narrative of channeling certain type of people to a certain direction in life. So they didn't want you, for example, to have critical thinking, because now you won't be able to be controlled and stuff like that. So, but then I don't think this should be the basis of our argument, because, to be honest, we can't keep on blaming things that happened in the past when we have 30 years. We had 30 years.
But this is education. It's in the subconscious. Your parents, they were learning about grasshoppers. They were learning about mice, the intestines of it. Now, you give that person, maybe you accelerate them to be teachers. Because in the early 1994, I feel like there were few teachers. And you give them this curriculum, or like this new curriculum that came from democracy, which is aimed in ensuring that South African, especially black people, have that critical thinking. But they can't understand this curriculum themselves.
Which brings us back to incompetency. There's nothing that is stopping you from developing yourself, even as a teacher, even as a student, even as a learner. If you can't do justice to yourself, you are given a textbook in front of you.
But how many workers out there, if maybe, for example, we bring it home, who in a company you don't show them, okay, this is a welding machine. To operate it, you do 1, 2, 3, and 4. But you just give them a welding machine, you show them how to deck, and you say that person you must teach the next person. Do you think the skill transfer
but
will
I don't
be
think
adequate?
that is a fair comparison, because here we're talking about a place where you have numerous chances of improving yourself, right? So that is why the government did all those courses for teachers who maybe that time when they were finishing in grade 9 and they go into a teaching college, then they come back and teach. So they do give them courses.
Was it sufficient?
No,
Because I
but
feel
I'm
it
saying
was
like
accelerated.
it's a gradual change, but those things are helping to a certain point. But what I believe with education, it's a personal choice to teachers themselves, to learners, and the leadership. Because if the leader is dedicated and the people under the person are not.
I feel like you are giving up on the nation when you say it's a personal choice.
No, but
Children at certain stage of life, they need to be led.
No,
You
I
can't say
understand,
it's their personal
but
choice.
now we were making references to children that are already maybe from grade 10 to grade 12. But in terms of foundation, I completely agree with you that.
So even in the foundation, we have teachers who are not strongly equipped.
But
And
then-
even they are working because there's no work.
No, but I
Or
understand
even
that. But
the curriculum,
but-
it keeps on changing. They don't understand it.
then whose fault is it to hire people that are incompetent?
There's no teachers.
No, but then, so the fact that there's no teachers, does it mean that we must hire teachers that are incompetent?
So who will teach these children in different parts of
No,
South
but
Africa?
you're not answering my question, because now I'm asking.
No, I'm just saying that we have teachers who came through the new system, which we're trying to build an education system which is more competitive in the world. But these teachers, they are not well equipped, and even the curriculum keeps on changing because government is in a race to address what happened in the past. And what happened in the past, it's an injustice, and we can't just say no, it's 30 years.
No, but then that
For
injustice,
Switzerland-
the way they're addressing it has when you have a roadmap and you see, okay, by 2030 I want to be in this place, and you see that now it's 2024, you're not even halfway there, then you know that your strategy is not working, which is what the education in South Africa, the people who are responsible for that, they should have seen that, okay,
Previously-
the graph is not going to the right direction.
Previously, you mentioned that before the CAP system right now, we had your NCS, you
Yes,
had your
OBEs,
OBE and
yes.
CAPS. Don't you think those were part of strategies being changed, modified, trying to make sure we're up to date in according to what was happening 10 years ago?
But
So we can't
yes.
say they are not changing.
But remember, the acceptance criteria of a strategy that is working is based on results. So if at the end of the day the outcome is still not improving, it means your strategies didn't work out.
So I love that you're in the business world in terms of your occupation. We have, let's say, different CEOs coming with their own different strategies to make a turnaround in a company. But those strategies, for them to, so that we realize those strategies happen, you can't just say after 5 years and people still adjusting, understanding how this new strategy is going to happen, you say, no, let's change it. Because let's take it back to the news, 1994. In 1994, they came with the policies and the strategy for education.
Yes.
It went from 1994, around 1994 towards freedom. So they built that strategy and it was implemented around 1999 to 2002, where they saw that they are putting a lot of content in terms of what they are teaching these
It's
children.
too theoretical, yes.
Then from 2002, they come up with a new strategy where they trying to reduce the content to make it show that it makes sense and it can develop those critical thinking that they are chasing, that we are behind in terms of government. But still, the teachers couldn't understand some of those things because it was all over and they just came out of a new strategy. Then there came another one within 4 years, they changed. Then they came the OBE, then NCS, like changing, like you say. Then CAPS. CAPS is the one, when I look at the different strategies that was in place, that took the longest because it was implemented around 2012 to date. So it's around
Actually,
10 years.
2014, yes.
Yeah, around.
We were the last batch of NCS.
Yeah.
No, I mean like CAPS.
Yes, CAPS
CAPS
started 2015.
No, CAPS started 2012 with us in grade 10, some of us.
No.
Or for people who are in grade 10.
For people
Yeah.
who are in grade 10.
We mean
yes,
the
yeah.
matrix, the last
The
matric
last
batch was
matric,
2014,
yeah, so
which means 2012 was the first CAPS for grade 10.
for grade 10.
Yes.
And then as we finished
We phased it
NCS,
out, we phased it out.
So ourselves, we started with
You started with CAPS
CAPS in 2012.
in 2012.
Yes, in grade 10. Then the other children who was doing grade R was
No,
studying
but
with
what
CAPS.
does Lebuhang mean?
Yeah,
CAPS
When
with NCS.
did you pass your matric?
myself, I did matric in 2014.
Now you are saying your age is here.
Yeah.
So,
No,
by the
because
way-
I'm thinking you did matric. 2014 was your final year
Yes,
in high school,
yes,
so you went to university in 2015.
yes.
Oh,
So 2014
Was
was
the
the
last-
year,
was the
was
last-
the first matric of CAPS.
yes,
2013 was the last matric of NCS.
Yes.
yeah, I understand it now.
So that means you roll that back 2 years ago.
It was
In
2012,
2012, that would be the first time they do CAPS
CAPS in grade 10.
Yes.
And
and now
grade R
we were in
also
grade
CAPS.
11, going out with
Yes, going out
NCS.
with
Oh, okay, I
NCS,
see
yes.
now.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that it's the longest, it's 10 years now.
Mm.
And Angie Mutsecha, she's the one who introduced it, and she's still the minister.
By the way, she was minister when we started school.
Yes, yes.
Oh wait, we had Naledi Pando as well at some point.
At some
Yes,
point.
at some
Yes.
point it was Naledi Pan.
Yes.
So I just want to show you that there are strategies being applied, but because we are quick to
To
change
change.
them, now it's difficult for teachers to keep up because these teachers is used to do that. And I agree, we are way too behind. But now I feel like I applaud Banyaza Lusufi in Gauteng. He's introducing those AI coding
In schools.
In schools.
Yes.
They are trying to bring those things. But also with Angie, also because she has been there for long, I feel like the strategy is that, okay, we have been getting this education system wrong because we are changing ministers. The new ministers doesn't like that one strategy. She comes with her new strategy, and we're not giving it time to mature, like find one.
I think.
But I'm
Yeah,
just
I
saying,
understand.
like, when I bring it back to that, government is trying, but even trying, there's things that in their own policies they want to address that we were not given as compared to, for example, Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, I think, like, they have the high school. After high school, they have
They're
another
grade 13.
grade 13.
So they do A levels as well.
Yeah, then when we meet them in universities,
They
they
tell
already
us.
know calculus and Laplace transforms.
They are way ahead. So which is what we are coming back to, that other countries' quality of education is way above our one. Do you understand?
But
We are not talking about strategies or anything, just what is taught to the kids without any strategy. If we open a grade 8 textbook or from South Africa, and you open a grade 8 textbook from Zimbabwe, put a grade 8 learner here from Zimbabwe, put a grade 8 learner here from South Africa, and just give them something to do, then you will see that we have failed from the beginning in terms of the substance itself. Whether there is strategies or not, but what is the substance itself that you're giving to the child?
So I want to bring it back because I want us and our viewers to understand that apartheid messed up, especially South Africa, big times. The point that I want to make, that other countries, they had strategies and freedom way before us, and there were strategies that were introduced long time. Their parents, most look at people with a lot of PhDs. They are from Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and other countries that had freedom long time ago, then their children, for them to understand maths, let's say early 2000, maybe our generation or even the generation before us, they didn't have people that they can go and ask. So I think from the government point that they didn't want to bombard these children with a lot of things that they can't have people within the community.
Which is
to
where
help
the
assist.
problem started. When they were thinking of easy solutions for this thing. Education was not even supposed to be something that, like, you know how in every house there's a band wall, they call it maguba in Venda. Every house says that education must be that scarce in terms of obtaining. You must work hard to get that degree. You must work hard to get that certificate.
But
If everyone feels like they're entitled to just pass without working hard, this is where we end up
but now
with them pushing the.
we want to address critical thinking to the nation. Then when you come up with a system that's hard for them to develop that
But what I'm
critical
saying
system.
is,
Can I come in also?
yes,
Let me see. Oh, I think the mic is picking me up. But yeah, I think also the important thing is to check like what was the purpose of the education to begin with, because we know that the education departments are basically run by the government, so the government dictates when to run CAPS, when to run NCS, and all of these things. But the purpose of education in the world to begin with, the reason why people were made to go to school or forced to go to school, because it's illegal to not go to school in South Africa, basically. Because if you are in school going age, you're supposed to go to school. So it's a force now. So the purpose of the education to begin with was for people to go to work, basically, to train people.
to train people for
to work.
employment, yes.
And then now let's fast forward now, because that started like in the first industrial revolution. We fast forward now. Is the education now preparing people to go to work? That's a very important question. Is the basic education preparing learners to be able to go to higher education?
Yes.
The answer, in my view, is a very, very big no. There's a very big gap in between matric
In terms of current.
and yes, in terms of
Current or past, it
there's a
doesn't
very
matter.
big gap
But in
between.
the past, I feel like they were addressing. You remember you had your TVET. They allowed at least some learners to be able to live from grade 9.
They still do that.
Yeah. To go and get those soft skills.
Yes.
I want us to bring it back. Myself, I'll say yes, and I have a reason behind it. So we're coming out of 1994. South Africa has a lot of, like they have a program, which is the RDP program that they want to push. And you need a lot of people in terms of the TVET level, where now you go to the college side, not the learning of the curriculum. In the TVET section, they had courses like bricklaying, sewing, electricity, and welding, carpentry, and stuff, because they knew that you mentioned that there are companies sometimes who dictate these policies. So, okay, we want people who will be engineers, and so many in the year 2030, because there are constructions that are gonna happen, or we need people at least to be able to run this in terms of compliance. And I know even in the mining sectors, for example, you need mining engineers in each and every section to oversee, because they know the mining charter, especially section 54. It has a lot of things that speak to safety. So I'm saying they had programs that were focusing in ensuring that, okay, let's get this RDP program going. Let's teach most people skills. But on the other side, those who don't want to go there and they want to be lawyers, doctors, and what, let's give them the bare minimum to be, not even bare minimum, let's help them to have that critical thinking to get to that stage, so that when they pass grade 12, they can be accepted within different universities. So fast forward, we have professionals that took that route to be doctors, engineers, lawyers, accountants. then
let's
they
look
become
at-
an influx now.
Now,
Where
I have a question before you move on. When you say critical, do you think somebody who just passed matric now has the capabilities of critical thinking?
no, because they have a 30% pass rate. How can they?
But
be
then
able to-
you said yes when Moses was answering.
No. I'm taking about with timelines.
So let
There was a
me
point
talk.
where the pass mark was 50%. At least you managed to capture 50% of your current. I think they are prepared well because, in terms of okay, I'll talk from the TVET section. I feel like the TVET they are trying to push a lot of the skills, like your national certificate in terms of electrical, civil, so that these guys can be artisan to help in the workspace. They are prepared well. And on tourism side, South Africa is a tourist destination, so they are equipping them to have chefs, to have people who can do the tourism things. But our economy in the same side, it's not doing well. Then when it's not doing well, because now we have an influx of graduates and we can't cater all of them, so you're bound to have an unemployment. Then on the tertiary side, I feel like government doesn't have much say on tertiary. I don't know. They have influence because they are the one who play in these universities. But the curriculum seems like it's influenced by the tertiaries. That's where we're getting it wrong, because we still have old degrees that are useless and they should be scrapped and updated with useful degrees, but they're still there.
The question still lies. I think we are losing the theme of this today's session, which is South Africa's education adequate, or alternatively, is it equipping these learners to an acceptable standard for either workplace or to be an entrepreneur or any other thing they want to do after they obtain the qualification?
I think
Is our education equipping learners, students sufficiently for them to be prepared for those things that I mentioned?
that's what I'm
Yes
saying.
or no?
We can't have a yes and no session. There's a lot of dynamics.
No, we can
Yeah, I
have it.
agree.
We-
It's
we-
not a yes and no
yeah.
thing. But
So I feel like they are trying, but they can do more 30 years later.
yes, they can definitely do. I think you should text Mondes Gate King. I think Cape Code, I think is here.
Dude,
It is
I'm
all
talking,
about
I'm
the
talking
learners.
from experience that
It is all
people
about the learners.
who in the rurals in my year who actually achieved 99.9% was the person themselves who was working hard, going out to seek other opportunities in winter schools, in other schools where there's teachers that are competent.
Yes, and then now we say, are the teachers competent enough?
Yes.
Are they catching up with the system?
If you
Are
just
they
sit in
with
one
the movement?
position with your day one teachers that you know that they don't know the work, and you even during your spare time you don't go out there to like what I did when I was in matric. I saw that we are going to see flames there. Winter school, there was a winter school at my high school. I didn't go. I went to a different high school where at least I know that those people from results they've been passing. So you go there, you seek opportunities, you come back, you finish it. But that's what I'm saying. Sometimes you have to be proactive as a person, whether you are a child or you are a grown up. And there's decisions that you take that will give you an advantage in life.
So we had a discussion in terms of this education system, and we didn't agree at some points. And that's where it brings us back to that point, the main point that we said that this topic is broad.
It's broad.
So I feel like it would be fair that we have a part 2 of this and we look in depth around this topic and
Definitely,
see
yeah.
how we can make sense of it. And also the audience, you guys can also put your experience of this education system. Like how did you like learn from this? Was it in your hands, or it was because you had a teacher who loved this education system and was pushing you guys? Let's see it in the next episode.
To
What do you
be
think?
continued.